everybody after.
Okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. Hi, Marie.
Hi, Phil. I hope I'm like,
Okay, so I think most of you kind of seen our information before, but we just wanted to do a quick recap of the sales that have happened, not only in our local area, but county-wide, get a sense of things. And I think that we all kind of feel what's happening, right? With low inventory, things are going off the market really quick. Prices are really kind of going all over, and there's no inventory, and so anybody that's dealing with buyers and sellers, they kind of have a feeling of what's happening. But it is nice to get the numbers that we have. So not only to see it in real life, but then to be able to take that information and do something with it, you know? So the idea, I think, just looking through all the stuff here, and I'm gonna go fairly quick, but the idea is to kind of say, okay, how can I use this information to get more business and get in front of more people and talk to clients. So what I wanted to do first is kind of share. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so if so I'm going to do that right now. Hopefully I can do that. Success. Can everybody see that on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sure everyone has seen this piece. If you haven't, we can email it to you. But this piece, I think, has just a ton of good information in it. It's 15 pages. It's the monthly indicator report that the MLS puts out, and there's so much here that you can use. But I like the first page because they do a really good job of kind of summarizing what's happening. And in this, and I think, you know, if it were me and I wanted to get the word out to my clients, I would just copy and paste, you know, the first couple of paragraphs and blast it out to just connect with my clients. But here it says, July 2020, healthy buyer demand and constrained supply continue to be the story for much of the country. Nationally, showing activity in July remains substantially higher than a year before, and most situations are a frequent experience in many markets, with the inventory of homes for sale still constrained, a competitive market for buyers showing sign of little waning. So I don't know if you feel that, but if you're out there, you know, showing homes and you know, taking buyers around, I think you probably would agree with that. So I like that first page. It kind of gives you an overview, but there's a couple of pages in this report. If you haven't seen them, I really think it's important to go through. So like new listings this is page 4. Can everybody see that okay? Marie, can you see that? So I like this whole report because it shows you just what's happened in this month compared to other years, and what's happened year to date compared to other years. So we see that new listings for the month of July is greater than it was last July and the July before that. So right now in July, we're having a spur of activity I'm sorry. The red is attached, the blue is detached. So the attached market this year in July is more, but you can see in July of this year, we've had less. So that kind of speaks to the overall low inventory. So that's new listings. Pending sales, you know, we've had that surge, right? We had a really busy first quarter. I think everybody kind of felt that. First quarter was great. And then obviously COVID in March, April, May kind of contributed to kind of the chaotic market. But July, 2,578 pending sales, and that was way more than years past, just for July. But when you look at year to date over here, if you look at year to date, we're down. And that's just because of the drastic decrease in the first couple of months into Q2. So that's pending sales. I think that's important. Closed sales, this, I think, just, gives you a nice perspective of what's happening. This is, and again, this report is all countywide. So July, there was more closed sales than there were the last 2 years, both detached and attached, more sales in July. But then when you look at year to date, we're definitely down. And so, we've got catching up to do, but July has had quite a surge. And typically, we see a slowdown. July, August, September, those are slower months generally. Wouldn't you agree, Marie? Those
Yes.
are generally you slow down in summertime.
Yep.
Well, all the factors that are contributing now, that's not true for July, but we'll see how it goes into August. But it's good. So that's closed sales. Median sale price, and again, this is countywide. Median sale price has jumped quite a bit. So you look at detached and attached both for the month of July versus the July of previous years has jumped quite a bit. And even year to date, so everything year to date, we're up, detached and attached in median sale price. And we kind of feel that multiple offer situations, people going into escrow over asking. So countywide year to date, we're up, and that's median sale price. Average sale price, same kind of thing. I'm going to skip this. And days on market, that's the big thing too. We really have to focus on days on market. So right now, year to date, I think this is most telling. Year to date, for detached homes, it's 28 days on the market versus 33 the year before, and then for condos, 27 versus 31. So you have this pretty drastic decrease in market time. So that plays into all sorts of things, pricing the home and marketing and client expectations. So I think that's very, very critical. Affordability, I don't like that one. Inventory of home sales. So this is great. If you had this number kind of at your fingertips, to kind of share with clients as you're talking to them. For detached, we're down 51% from the same July last year. Okay. And then condos are down almost 30%. So, and we feel that. So it's right now we're at about 4,000 homes and on the market for the county. And so I think that's it. Even if you just wanted to take a screen grab of this chart, I think you would get a lot of response from clients. Month supply of inventory, same thing. We kind of feel that. So 1.3 months of inventory for detached. That's quite drastic. And then, so the other thing I wanted to share, it's a little grainy, but stay with me here. So this is like, we rarely do like a price point kind of analysis. And I like this chart. This kind of shows you like, okay, for all of San Diego County, anything that's priced up to $750,000, the expected market time is 27 days. That's 48% of our inventory. So you have another 52% of our inventory that's over $750,000. So if you're in that range, it just kind of shows you kind of how competitive it is. Like if you're in the $1 million to $1,250,000 right here, that's only 6% of our total market. So when you say, oh yeah, okay, there's 4,000 homes for sale, but if you're in a certain price range like that, 1 to $1,250,000, it's only 6% of the inventory. So that market really shrinks, right? Any questions so far on this?
Amazing.
You're the only one that's off mic or that's on unmuted. So I'm talking to you.
Sorry.
All right.
Maybe I should shut up.
And Marie, I expect your home in Del Mar is going to go a lot faster than that 262 days. Let's hope.
I hope so. Actually, this is really encouraging. Just looking at if they had put it on the market last year, they could have expected 810 days. Seems kind of crazy. Well, yeah,
Oh.
and I think coastal is just going faster.
Yeah,
than-
and remember with MLS, this is MLS data, and there's listings in the MLS over $4 million that have been on for 2 years. So you have these kind of kooky numbers when you get up to that high point.
Well, and then you have the agents who just keep on relisting and relisting
Yeah.
it, or the sellers that switch agents. And so when you go into the true history of the property, it's more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share.
Another thing, Phil, on that previous slide, I was surprised that condos or homes under 750 make up nearly half of the housing inventory.
Yeah. I know. When we
that was larger than I expected for that.
Where are they?
Yeah, I think, and anything over $1 million is basically like, almost a third, of our market. So, so I wanted to share this graph with you. Can everybody see this chart?
Yes.
So this is what we do for Del Mar, Solana Beach, Carmel Valley, and Rancho Santa Fe. So we track monthly sales and, what's closed. And so this kind of helps us with, kind of keeping track of where we're at. So you can see that in the first, this is just one sample. So this is Carmel Valley. This is new homes, resale homes. And I hope everybody's working Carmel Valley because it's just, there's so much there. So you can see the first quarter, every month of the first quarter, which we were feeling was outpacing last year, right? So we see that January, February, March outpacing. And then you get to April and drastically lower, May drastically lower, June trying to come back, but it's lower. So when the COVID hit, it definitely impacted our market, but surprisingly, not as much as we thought. If you look at the condos a little bit more drastic. You see down here, January and February, March doing really well, and April, May really low numbers, right? And then June starting to come back a little bit. So if you had a client for Carmel Valley and they liked numbers, I would send them this piece because they can kind of see, okay, here's the trend, here's what we're looking at, what do we expect, for next month. And then on page 2 of this, we go quarter by quarter. So I'll do year by year on average and median, but for the purposes here, I just went quarter by quarter just to kind of show big groups of data. So we see ups, a little bit of up and down over the last couple of years, but overall, our average sale price for Carmel Valley detached homes was $1,689,000. Q1 of this year was $1,586,000. So that's where we at for Q2. And then condos for Carmel Valley seem kind of flat, so they were up in Q1, down in Q2 of this year. So we kind of see that in most markets where condos, don't tend to appreciate as quickly.
Hey, Phil.
Yes, sir.
Marav's asking through the chat box, how do we access this info? Is there a way that—
Great question. Yeah. So all of this information that I'm sharing is something that I do myself. It's custom. I can email it out to anybody. If you like, Brandon, I can send it to you and you can forward it on if you like.
Yeah, either way. And Marav, I can give you Phil's email address too, but we can chat after. Yeah, if you want to send it to me.
Yeah, thank you. That would be great.
Yeah, these are all PDFs. I'm happy to send them to you. And then, we don't put our branding on them. The idea is that, number one, you can send it out to your clients and make it your own. So it's a PDF, so it's not easily editable, but if you forward it, you can say, hey, I put these numbers together for you. I want to share this information. And if you wanted it in a slightly different format or whatever, it's totally, I can customize it any way you like, and happy to do that for you. The idea is for us to help you get more business.
Hey, Phil, can you stay on that page for 1 second? So right here, the other thing that is encouraging is last year, at least the Carmel Valley detached homes they didn't really go down except for September through the end of the year. So they had an extending selling period.
Yeah, and we see that, just looking at last year, the red kind of, I mean, Carmel Valley is a strong market overall, and it has been for decades, and so there's so many driving forces that make that market strong, and so that's why I'm so excited for people in Carmel Valley to work that area. So if you can get buyers and sellers interested in Carmel Valley, it's just a great place to be.
And Laura Siedemann just joined us. Not sure if you guys know her or not.
Yeah, of course.
Sideman.
Side. Sorry.
Michael Murphy. Hi, Phil. Hi, Lindsay.
Hey,
Hello.
hey. So, okay, so that was Carmel Valley.
Hey, Phil, you should point out that the chart that they're looking at is for new and resale, because that has an impact on what they look at in MLS.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you break down new home sales versus resale, the numbers are different for sure. And so if you wanted, and we track everything, just to back up 2 seconds, we track everything by deeds. So if doesn't matter if it's in the MLS or not, we track new construction, all those sales, FSBOs, things that aren't on the market, foreclosure sales, when people buy something at auction, which is rare these days, the foreclosure and default is almost non-existent in our area. And so I think that, if you wanted to just look at the new home sale market in Carmel Valley, that's easy for us to do.
And Phil and Michael, this is more just a opinion question, but we were hoping with, March, April, May kind of being down, that the selling season may go a little longer this year anyway. So just didn't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it sure feels that way with just by the volume of calls that we get and the interest rates and people, the low inventory. It just feels like it's going to continue on, and even the fact that it's an election year, it still seems like the demand is out there right now, and it should go strong into the summer. So we could have, a couple of months where we outpace previous years.
I have a question. Thank you for mentioning that it's an election year, because we are looking at the graph going forward to the end of the year. Do you have any data on what things looked like in 2016? That was also an election year?
Yeah, we do have historical stuff. So if you wanted to see, we have for Del Mar, Solana Beach, and Rancho Santa Fe, we have a 10-year historical report that we update, and then we also can go back even further on certain areas. So yeah, if you wanted certain zip codes or certain neighborhoods to look at, like a 10-year report, that's easy for us to do. We can take a look.
I'm just curious, Phil, if there's anybody on the call, because I'm completely new, that has been in the business last election, and if they recall how the market behaved, because this year I don't know that anyone knows what to expect in terms of what's going to happen, and it clearly will have an effect on the market. No matter which way it goes, it will have an effect, positive
Right.
or negative. So just wondering if anybody recalls what the market did in 2016, if they're on the call.
Yeah, Mike went. I don't know that it was impactful.
Well, Marav, my understanding is that sometimes people will possibly hold off until like during an election year and wait and see what happens. but besides that, I don't know if it necessarily, if there's an up or a down besides just, some people may make that decision to wait and find out first before they buy or sell.
I actually, this is Laura. 2016 was the best year I ever had. So,
That's good to hear.
yeah, and I mean, in
It was
this
a great
year,
year for me too.
yeah, and I mean, this year is going really well so far, considering all our challenges. And I know my partner Janet's also having a phenomenal year.
Great.
So here's something I Googled. This is Michael Murphy. It says here, elections have historically affected housing prices with a slightly lower percentage increase in value. According to a study of California real estate market, home prices typically rise 1.5% less during an election year than in the year prior to the election. So it looks like it does drop off just slightly during election year.
Thanks for that.
Yeah,
I think that speaks more to the price, not to the activity.
Right, the demand. Yeah.
Right. And, I mean, 1% is pretty insignificant, especially in our coastal market.
I would agree.
Yeah. What I remember from previous election years is a lot of buyer talk and concern about how the election is going to affect things. And in the end, it really doesn't, because people's needs for a place to live and job security and school and so forth for their kids, people need to have a stable life. And that overrides the overall concern about who's going to be in office,
Okay.
at least in my experience.
So I agree. Consumer confidence plays a big part in this, but it comes right down to it. It's really based on needs, and today there's a pent up demand and not enough inventory. And so I think that consumer confidence for real estate is really high. Consumer confidence for the economy there's some uncertainty. So the election may have a play in that, but we'll have to wait and see.
Hope for the best.
Yeah.
So wanted to get back to the slides just real quick. Can everybody see the Rancho Santa Fe summary here? So this kind of goes along, sometimes Rancho Santa Fe works different than other areas. So when, one area is doing really well, or the county's doing well, or vice versa, the ranch sometimes acts independently on its own. So we can kind of see a little bit of the same trend though happening. So March, April, May of this year, low sales compared to the year before, but then June coming back and doing better than the year before. And so also when we look at these numbers, this is everything detached in both zip codes. But when we look at the high end, I think so far this year we're projected to outpace the number that we did last year in terms of homes that sold over 5 million. So that's kind of one of the benchmarks that we looked at. And so if all goes well, we'll be over that number. And then looking at the homes that sold over 10 million, we believe that by the end of the year we'll have more of those than we did the year before. So high end seems to be doing really well. And then here's just a quick quarterly summary for all of the ranch detached homes. Ups and downs a little bit, but overall up from a couple of years ago. Okay, so here is Del Mar, and I think that a little bit similar to the other areas. We see if you look at the March, April, May. March it did okay. April and May dropped off quite a bit, not only in detached but attached as well. So you can see April and May down at the bottom here, far fewer sales. But then in June, nice recovery. had a lot of sales for both homes and condos. And then, we break out the individual month counts over here. And then, this is the quarterly sales average price. With Del Mar, you get a little bit of cookie graphs because some of the sale prices, but that the 43 million sale first quarter boosted our average up. I could also do median on this chart, but we see ups and downs as far as value goes. But I think with Del Mar, it's a little bit better to kind of look at it year by year and do a long sustained graph, like a 20-year average by year. I think it's just more accurate that way. But in the short run, you see kind of highs and lows. Okay, and then Solana Beach, very similar to the other areas. April, May, very low sales. June comes back, and then on condos again, April, May, low sales. June comes back with a lot of sales, and then prices, same kind of thing. You see a little bit of ups and downs, but overall, we're if you look at the the average sale price for this quarter for homes, it's right at 2 million versus same time a year ago it's $1.9 million. Year before that $1.6 million. So long term year over year you're up average sale price. But feel free to share these graphs and use them. And then we went over. Oh, this is one other thing. Has everybody seen this piece? It's the monthly indicator. Or the monthly sales report by the MLS. I like this piece a lot because you can do it for every zip code in the county. So if you don't work our area and you wanted to, you work Carlsbad or downtown, you can take this piece, and I can email it to you if you like. You can take this piece. It's one page. You can brand it at the top right here. Brandon, do you guys use this piece at all? Do you have agents that like this?
Is this Homedex or?
This is I get it through Fast Stats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've used, some agents use it. They'll hop in there. There's a couple different things. So there's the Homedex on the MLS. There's that Fast Stats, and then there's also an altos.re, I think, and they're all kind of a little similar. They just offer like a one page.
I like all those. I like this one the best because it looks at closed sales. Remember, if everyone's using Altos, it's good data, but the Altos is not. And Brandon, you can confirm this, but it's not closed data. So they don't use closed sales. It's everything that's on the market. So it's like looking at what's out there on the market right now. So it's not closed sales. So just be careful with the Altos. I think it's a good product, but they don't.
Yeah, that's good to know.
They don't advertise that it's just what's for sale. So you just have to be careful, on quoting numbers and stuff. So I like, I would prefer quoting numbers that are things that have actually closed.
They're real.
So when you're quoting a median price, it's things that have closed. But this is a great piece. It's great talking points. Again, I think it's something that you could send to your sphere, something that you could door knock with if you're door knocking, or just even if you're just leaving it on someone's door. I think it's a great piece that people will actually read. And it's it's a lot of information, but it's not overwhelming, and they give nice graphs. So the idea is to just have more conversations with people about real estate.
I enjoy using it. I like the one page because it is simple. And then some of the other reports that are, 10 pages plus, those are great for the more technical, what's the word I'm looking for?
Nerds.
Engineer brains.
Yes, the nerds, the data nerds.
No offense to anyone.
Yeah, no, I love all this stuff. So yeah, if you've got clients that want to dig deeper or do different stuff, we could even send you like the Excel file and they can crunch their own numbers. But yeah, we have a lot of data at our disposal. The key is to give them just enough to start that conversation and not overwhelm them with data. And I think this is a good piece to do that. And then, you can follow it up with a chart like this, that kind of shows that we track the information. And tracking historical data is not easy. So if you're starting from scratch and you said, okay, I want Del Mar, 10-year historical data, it's very difficult to get because the MLS is only good for, a certain amount of that. And then you have all the off-market stuff and new construction and other numbers that aren't found on the MLS. So it's, it's one of the advantages that you have talking to us is that we have this information for you. Okay, what else can we share? Michael,
Okay.
anything
Yeah,
else?
I have a few comments regarding the 4 zip codes we looked at. I think if you looked at the rest of San Diego by zip code, you'd see the same thing, where January, February, March.
Mike's pausing for a second.
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry. And then we saw, big drop in April. And then May, we started to see improvement. And then in June, we saw a big increase. So I don't think it just applies to these 4 zip codes. I think you'd find that pretty true in the other zip codes in San Diego County. So I just have a couple of things to add, just to throw out. And one thing that's really interesting is nationally, the housing market is heating up despite the COVID-19. And the real estate sector is has been the most resilient area of the economy during the severe economic shutdown. So back in 2006, it was the real estate market that helped us put us in the recession. This time it's the market, that part of the market that's going to pull us out of the funk that we're in. It's going to take a little bit of time, but so real estate is really, really the savior in our economy. A couple things to point out: San Diego median list price was $730,000 from last year, and the median sales price now is $649,000. So you can see this median sales price is a little bit less, obviously, than the list price. The sale to list price ratio is 99.
Wow. Frozen again.
There we go. Okay, I think I'm back on. So the sale to list price is 99.78%. So if you consider those homes that are overpriced, consider as the total, you can see that probably homes that are priced correctly are getting over market prices, or so that's a really good sign. Just a couple statistics. Second quarter 2020 was up 0.84%. So for the quarter, that would, for the year, that would mean it's looks like it's going to be in probably between 3 and 4% increase appreciation. Last year was 7.1% appreciation. Last 5 years, 41%. Last 10 years. Sorry. So and then the last 20 years, 205%. So when you look at the stock market, you look at real estate. Real estate's still obviously an incredible investment. Just a couple things to point out. Don't underestimate the mortgage rate that we're looking at. It's under 3% now for a 30-year, and that's really an incredible driving force, as I think we all know. But just to put things into perspective, what a $300,000 home with a mortgage rate of 6%, that's equal to a $600,000 home that's has a 3% mortgage rate. So the mortgage for both is $1,800. So there's an incredible increased value for buyers, and buyers know that. So it's just a really interesting time in real estate, because you've got homes, very few, very little inventory, strong demand, and then you have on the buyer side, mortgage rate that's in the high 2%. So it's just percolating. So I think we're going to see things that are going to affect real estate, which would include the elections, COVID-19, unemployment, protests. But I think overall, I think we're going to see a pretty positive year. I think, Brandon, you said about the extenuating seller's market. Oftentimes this is when families start looking at selling their homes, for the school year. Well, some kids aren't going back to school, and other kids are going back to schools in different ways. So it's hard to say what the market's going to do, but my guess is we're going to see a pretty strong market all the way through the year. Yeah, and that's all I have to say. Lindsay, do you have any comments?
Sure.
Sure.
Thanks, guys. I just wanted to mention a couple things. We would love to be able to see more CPP agents on our virtual pitch meetings. They've been going really well ever since we kind of shifted back in March. So I encourage you, if you haven't been on yet, to pop on. We have a few for our area. We still do have the private Rancho Santa Fe one for realtors only on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. And then we also have, we help with the SDAR one for Del Mar, Solana Beach area. That's Tuesday mornings at 9:30. So as soon as you jump off Rancho Santa Fe, you can jump onto the SDAR one. And then of course, NSDCAR has their 11 a.m. one on Tuesday as well. So back-to-back meetings on Tuesdays, but just a great way to hear about up and coming listings primarily. Also, if you have, the typical go-to, like any new listings, price reductions, buyer wants and needs, because we can't meet together in person, these are great alternatives to jump on some of those pitch meetings. Also, if you happen to have a client maybe looking out of the area, we do have a master list of all of the different virtual pitch meetings happening throughout the county. And we have the Zoom links and everything for that. So if you do need a copy of that master list, just let me know, let any of us know, and we can send it to you. And then also, if you have an active listing right now and you're having private showings and you need some PPE supplies for that, we have masks, booties, sanitizer wipes, things like that. So if you do need that, it's limited supply because they're going like hotcakes. But if you do need some, just message any one of us and we can get them dropped off to you. But I wanted to mention that. And then just lastly, keep us in mind for title. I know Phil spends a lot of time on this data, and we do it for you because we want you guys to have this information to use for your clients. So just keep us in mind when it comes to choosing title. And that was it.
Thank you all three of you. Always very helpful. You guys provide so much to us, so we appreciate it. One other question I had though was, have you seen anything with if we have any agents on here that do any deals downtown? So I was talking to an agent that does deals downtown, and I know he was saying that he thought that people were kind of looking outside of the downtown area more now than they previously were, because they don't want to live in such a dense type of area. And I know we don't have like the biggest of downtowns or anything like that, but just didn't know if you see people choosing to live in more suburban areas than the city of San Diego now. So
I mean, we've had a couple clients lately that that took listings down there, and they got them into escrow like in a week. So I don't know what the general feeling is, but you know, it still seems like a strong place for investors to put their money, and but actually people living down there, we'll find out. We'll see if we can get a consensus of, you know, of what's happening. We've got some downtown reps that are very, very tied into that market, so we'll pick their brain a little.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good.
Laura. Thanks, Brandon.
Good to see your faces. Sorry I couldn't do video this morning. I would have scared you.
Ah.
Oh, come on.
All right.
Next time, we better see you.
Okay.
See you guys.
Oh,
Bye,
you're gonna
guys.
have to
Thanks, everybody.
take a shower?
Good seeing you.
Bye, everyone.